Hey everybody, it's Rebecca with 101 Projects with Rebecca, and today I would like to do a brief overview of the Stampin' Up! Big Shot and the Framelits and Thinlits, and give you a little idea of what the difference is between the two of them and how you can use them. So the first things that you're going to need to get is a Big Shot. This is a Big Shot. Basically what it is it's a roller underneath here, and when you slide things in the roller, the two roller pieces kind of smush them down to create the shape. So when you use the handle crank right here to force the platforms through. Then we have the new Big Shot platform from Stampin' Up. This is a little bit different than the one that I used to have. I used to have one that had tabs on the side of it, and then you could flip it to figure out which tab you needed to use for what die. I enjoy this a lot better because it's simple. You only have two things here, and it also gives you the directions on here. So the Big Shot platform is now, this main piece is for your embossing folders, and as it says on here, the embossing folders get put between two clear pieces of plastic, and then it get run through. Then if you are going to be doing thin dies, like Framelits or Thinlits or Edgelets, then you put the thin die adapter on the top of it and then just follow directions on here. Some of the other things that you're going to need with your Big Shot are cutting pads, and as you can see, cutting pads take a lot of abuse. You can see mine have pretty much all the outlines of everything that I've ever done on here. I usually keep 2 or 3 sets of cutting pads because I use them for different things. Some of them get used just for anything, and then some of them get used for my specialty, the real thin dies that have a lot of intricate details on them. So this is what you're going to use. If you're going to be using Thinlits, then you're going to need a precision base plate, and this also shows you on the side right here how to sandwich everything on here. This is a really good idea to use for the very intricate dies like the ones I'm going to show you today, because it holds them a lot better, and you'll get a better cut from it. So that's pretty much the beginning stages of using a Big Shot. Is you need all of that stuff. Now the precision plate, you don't have to have it, but I strongly recommend it if you're going to be doing a lot of really intricate die cutting. So moving on, so now that you know the basics things that you need, Stampin' Up! Also in their catalog, starting on page 190, has all of the Big Shot stuff in here, including the platforms, cutting pads, and then they go through the Thinlits and the Framelits on here, and they also show you on the different pages how to make your sandwich to run it through the Big Shot. So I really like that. So as you can see, there's a lot of Framelits on here. Framelits are, well, they're basically frames for your stamps. Framelits are anything from ABCs to letters and numbers and stars, and most of the time these come with stamp sets that you can buy so that you can ink up your stamp it, and then use the framelit to cut around the edges of that stamp so that you have a nice image to do your 3D images in. And then on page 194, they have the Thinlits. And the Thinlits are a little bit different. They're usually very intricate dies, and they normally don't have a stamp set that goes with it. It's usually just like the add-ons, I guess, if you will. A lot of them do have stamp sets that go with them. They just don't have stamps that go underneath the Thinlits. We do have a lot more Framelits, I think, than Thinlits. So you can see where they show you this is Rose Garden Thinlits, this is Mayflower Framelits. So when you see Framelits, you should look for the stamp set that goes with it. A lot of these have bundles that are good to get if you want to get this Framelits or Thinlits plus the stamp set as well. They're usually about 10% off. So I'm going to show you the new layering oval Framelits dies. And what these are, as you can see, there's some that have the scalloped edges around them and some that are just the plain ovals. And these can be stacked together. So these are Framelits. So that means you can cut them out and it makes a frame for anything that you want to put in the middle of it. So I did a couple of them. This is the biggest of the scallop. This is a middle size of just the regular oval. And then I stamped something on this one and ran it through one of the smaller ovals. And as you can see, they're really good for layering. So you can now get a nice scalloped edge around that one. And then if you put this one in the center, you have a nice little three ovaled greeting here. So these are very, very good to have. You can also use these in the middle of a paper to make a cutout in your layers of your card. So these are really good to have. I have the ovals, the hearts, the circles, and the squares already. So you can tell I'm a lover of the big shot. So I really do think that these are a staple, a must-have. And then the Framelits, what I have to show for you today is the Flourish Framelits that they just came out with. And these are very, very intricate dies. You can see that they have a lot of swirls and circles, and if you take a look, there's all these little pieces that need to come out of the die before you can see what it actually looks like. Stampin' Up! Also sells a little brush that you can use to brush out all of the little shapes on here. I just use my kids. I buy these so many times a month because my kids seem to like to eat my toothbrushes, so I just use a toothbrush. Works good. So I use the precision base plate with these, and here's a sample of the Flourish Framelits. This is one of the. This is this part right here. I'm not really sure what to call that other than a border. This is one of the flowers. You can see all the detail and all of the things that need to come out of there before you can actually get the flower. So this is why the stamp sets probably wouldn't do any good, because these are really, really delicate. And then I used all the rest of them in here. This is one of my favorite new stamp sets, actually. And then I use this one. You can kind of see there's still some paper in there that I haven't gotten out yet. And one of the little leaves that's down there on the bottom. So there's that. This is some of the other Thinlits that I have. This is the Swirly Scribbles Thinlits. You can see, again, there's probably not a whole lot of room for a stamp underneath there. But here's a framelit. This is the Umbrella Weather framelit, and here is the matching stamp set that goes to it. And as you can see, there's a lot of the stamps that actually you can stamp and then use the umbrella. And as you can see, it's got a lot of wide open spaces, so you can actually stamp your image and then use the big shot to cut it out like that. So that's kind of the difference between Framelits and Thinlits. That's a real rough introduction to them, but a Big Shot is a great tool to have. I know they're probably going to be coming out with more and more Big Shot accessories, dies, and embossing folders. So if you don't have a Big Shot yet, I highly recommend getting one. And if you have any other questions, feel free to message me or leave me a comment. Thanks!